Hey guys, it's Troy, and let's talk about the brand Lamy for a few minutes. I wanted to talk to you about where my preferences are when it comes to the Lamy brand. You know, Lamy has some decent pens. They're a stalwart of brand name right now in the fountain pen industry out of Germany, and for good reason. I mean, they make some decent stuff. My first Lamy was like a Lamy Safari, and I've got a fairly good amount of Lamys here in my collection. As a matter of fact, this is just a representative sample of them. I got a drawer full of them. And then you go like a Lamy Dialogue 3, which is really popular with some people. Not necessarily with me. I hadn't been a fan of mine so far. But like the Ion, the Lamy 2000. I guess this was actually my first Lamy because, when I asked people who knew about fountain pens or had used them, hey, what are your recommendations? The two that came up with for someone starting out was a Lamy 2000 or a Pilot Metropolitan. So I got them both. So I've had that for a while. Then you've got some more Lamys, more student level pens here and here. And then you get into like the Lamy Studio. And I even have a Lamy from before Lamy's name was changed to Lamy when they used to create pens under the name Artist. So this came out back in like the 40s and 50s. So those are some from my collection. But I got to be honest with you, these are not my favorites. If you have not tried vintage Lamys, and I'm going to leave this one out of the discussion for right now, but if you have not tried vintage Lamys, let's say from the 1960s, to me you're missing out. To me, they're better than all of these sitting here in front of me. I'm not saying anything negative about these. I'm just saying I like the Lamys from the 1960s better. And here are a couple of them. My favorite Lamy of all time is this one right here. This is the Lamy 99. And this is a piston filler. And from the 1960s. Fantastic pen. And right next to it is one that I knew I would probably enjoy because it was also from 1960s. 1962 came out towards the beginning of that decade, and I was introduced to the world at the end of that decade, so it is older than me. This is the Lamy 46, and I've seen it also designated Lamy 46 PN. This is not as high up as the Lamy 99. This is actually a cartridge filler pen with, it's got the silver trim and it's got a steel nib compared to the Lamy 99, which is got more of a gold nib on it and some gold trim on it, and it's actually one of my favorite, I'd say bar none, my favorite Lamy that I have ever used, period. Not just in my collection, but that I've ever used was the Lamy 99. And then this 46 just arrived, and I'm very happy with it as well. All right, now that I put the other ones back, at least one of them was inked, one of them needed to be cleaned out, and the rest of them were yet to be put back into my rotation. Like I said, I'm not saying anything negative about them. I actually keep Safaris around from time to time, and I do give them away. I've got this still in a box that I had purchased brand new for the sole purpose of giving it away. So to me, that's a decent first-timer or newbie pen to start with, is actually the Lamy Safari. And there's a reason why pens like that have been knocked off so much by Chinese manufacturers who copy that design. So, looking here at their vintage pens, 1960s saw a lot of slender pens, a lot of solid black pens in resin, and I've got a bunch of them here in my collection. Mont Blanc did the same thing, and Pelican did the same thing. Very similar designs as these. So they often look very similar. They don't always write similarly, but they do have some similarities in the design of the barrel, the cap, a very simplistic yet elegant design to them, and they generally have a few similarities in the style of nib. So I'm going to show you here the Lamy 99, and that's not what this necessarily was about for my video, but it was actually because I got the 46 here, but they're similar enough that I wanted to show them both to you. You've got the old L. When you look at Lamy, that used to be how you could make sure that it was a Lamy, is looking at the finial of the cap. they had that L that was put onto it. And if you look at the clips, the clip is a very simplistic stamped clip with the name Lamy on it. Very simple. You look at it on the side here, all black, single cap band on that cap, and you can see right in here on that pen that you've got the Lamy Ratio 46PN is actually the full brand of this, the Lamy Ratio 46PN. Then you look here, you can see that you've got the Lamy 9936. This is a piston filler. This is a cartridge filler. So you take off that cap, it's a twist, and you've got a very simple yet elegant design here. And you can see that nib. It is not the same as the current Lamy nibs that you see, and this is a semi-hooded nib, but it is a very different style to it. And I'm not going to actuate that piston because it does have ink in it. The reason it has ink into it is because a friend of mine brought by some ink samples, and I said if I'm going to do this Ratio 46, I'm going to go ahead and fill up that other one as well, the 99, so I can have them side by side. So here you've got a very similar nib to it, but it is silver tone. It is in steel, and you can see that you've got the same taper down style nib here, and you've got your screw threads here. Here is where the barrel meets the cap, and you've got that taper down on the barrel to the bottom where you've got that here, you've got that convex shape with a white dot, whereas the 99, because it's a piston cap, is kind of rounded at the end. And this, like I said, is a cartridge converter pen. One of the things about it, though, is I had to put in a Lamy cartridge. I actually tried taking out a Lamy converter that I had in another pen and putting it into it, but it was too long. That converter would not fit. So I said, let me see if I can get some others, and an old Eversharp, which is had later been purchased by Parker, would actually fit into it. But, you know, I didn't want to do that, so I went ahead and tried a Lamy converter, and it would go in really, really tight, and it would not screw down all the way. I said, that's it. I don't want to go any further with it. So I do have some Lamy cartridges. Let me go ahead and see if I can get that in there. And lo and behold, it does fit. Fits very nicely. Lamy with its proprietary cartridge. This is not the most expensive plastic right here. That's the only disappointment I had to it, is this plastic piece right here. It's not as rugged, and it had just a little bit of movement to it, but when you close it up, you've got no issues. So, in general, though, for the money that I paid, this was, believe it or not, new old stock. And I found a seller in the Netherlands that had a bunch of them. I think they still had some in red or burgundy, but also had these black ones. And they were about $49.99, $50, somewhere in there, plus shipping from the Netherlands to get to me here in the United States. So I was not dissatisfied with the price. I knew that I was probably going to get a decent quality with something out of 1962 from Lamy. And, oh yeah, I was quite happy. There is a slight difference in that the Lamy 99, when you look at it, is just a fraction of an inch, a little bit longer when you sit them side by side. So you can see the comparison between the two, and I'll try to write with both of these and maybe give you an idea or two for you to add to your collection. You can still find Lamy 99s for sale. Usually they're used. I have not seen any new old stock that I've seen online. That doesn't mean they're not out there, but I do know that Lamy Ratio 46 has been out there and has been for sale. And you can still find new old stock on eBay, at least. So, you know, happy hunting on those. All right, just for grins, because I do have them both here, let's go ahead and show you how these two pens compare in their writing. You take them, they do post very nicely. And let's go ahead and put nib to paper. So this is a Lamy, 99. This is from the 1960s, and this does have a nice little gold nib. And you're not going to get much line variation or flex out of it. I don't expect to, especially with it being a semi-hooded nib. But it is extremely smooth. This is a great writing nib, which is why this has become my favorite Lamy of all the Lamys I've ever used. It has been reliable. It has been fantastically smooth. It has been first time, every time, never a problem with this particular pen. It's a piston filler, so I'm getting really good quality out of it. And let me just turn it over. You get an extra fine, very scratchy line with it, and it does work. But the Lamy 99 to me has just been a joy, a pleasure to write with. Besides the fact that it's simple looking, yet very elegant. The black with gold trim to me has always been a symbol to me of business, of elegance, and simplicity. And I've said that many times on this YouTube channel, and this met all of those. So when you look at the quality that you're getting with the 99, I have been extremely happy. So what have I got for ink in here? This is one that was an ink sample given to me by a friend of mine. It is a Diamine Arctic Blue. And it's supposed to be a shimmer. A shimmering ink. Let me see if I can see any real shimmer in here. I mean, up here, I can see there's a little bit here when you get the darker lines. That I do see just a little bit of shimmer to it. But, you know, I've never been a fan of shimmering inks just because I was like, big whoop, so what? But I had the opportunity to get a free sample and to fill up my pen because a good buddy of mine had his. So that's what the 99 looks like. So the Lamy ratio, 46. Let's go ahead and put nib to paper on that. So draw the line. The Lamy ratio, 46. And you can definitely tell the difference. I mean, this is nowhere near as smooth. It's still a fairly smooth nib, but it's not as buttery smooth as the other. You can tell that it's a steel nib probably by the feel of it. You definitely don't get any real line variation out of it. But I can tell you, for having had this pen, it has been really good in terms of smooth enough to be able to use and be pleasantly enjoying the pen itself. And you know, this is the lower version of what the 99 would have been, but it still has been very reliable. I have had absolutely no problems with this whatsoever. What does it have in it? This has the Lamy cartridge. So whatever ink came in it, I guess it's a Lamy blue. I don't know. Flip it over. Very scratchy. If you want to get reverse. Oh, man, that's like writing with a needle. Ew. It gets, ooh. Give me the willies just doing that with the feedback that it got and the feel. But I've used this pen a lot. I mean, it's been my everyday carry for about a week. And I've been very happy with it, and not as happy as I am with the 99 because there is a big quality difference, in my opinion, between the two. But, you know, for 50 bucks, you get a good, reliable Lamy pen, and I have had no complaints over it. And to be honest with you, it writes every bit as good as some of the modern Lamys, if not better, in this Lamy 99 by far. Like I said, my favorite of all Lamy pens. So hopefully there are a few ideas if you are looking for pens, not to talk down or to put down anything modern that Lamy is putting out. I don't mind the brand. I've got no issues with the brand. other than that Lamy Dialogue 3 that I've got, that I've been very disappointed with since the day that I got it, and have worked with it and fiddled with it, changed out nibs on it, and I'm still not happy with it. But in terms of Lamys, I would go Lamy 99 Vintage. If I had to go pick a Lamy pen and I had the money to get any Lamy pen that's out there, I would go with another Lamy 99 without even thinking twice.